everyone. Welcome to this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series brought to you by Patranya Media LLC and Parkway Media Partners. I'm your host, Patranya Poonswan, and in the studio with us today, we have some very special guests. We have Sonia Lynn and Sergio Max. They are the founders of La Union Studio, an up-and-coming full-service architectural and interior design studio based in Seattle, Washington. So great to see you guys here in person.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Oh my God, so great to be here. I have been working and I get to know these guys for quite a while now, and it's great to see you in person and just talking about all the great things that are happening with La Union Studio. So, of course, this show is about entrepreneurs, and you are entrepreneurs working in the design space. And what I really love about what you're doing is that you're really showcasing the diversity of cultures and different, ethnic groups within your work. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. You're based in Seattle, Washington. So, Sergio, I'll start with you. And by the way, they are both partners in work and life because you guys got married how many years ago now? Just a few years ago, right?
During COVID.
COVID, this is year two.
Year two. Yeah. A lot has happened because Sergio, you started this firm what year?
We started in 2018 officially, but 2016 we started doing our first projects.
Friends and family.
For friends and family. And then it has now blossomed into a full service architectural design firm. And we couldn't be more excited about where we are in our journey, and just helping small businesses and celebrate their identity and creating spaces that reflect their values is something that we truly truly special to us, and we couldn't be more proud to be where we are.
It's just really amazing just to see how much you've grown. The first time I think I interviewed you for a newspaper story, you just started this, and people were just talking about, hey, there's this design firm in Seattle we're doing really great things designing these places in Seattle that are really kind of showcase the cultures, places like, I think one of the places I first heard about was Hood Famous, right? Cafe, a Filipino style place that a lot of people are talking about, but people don't think about the design that goes behind it. And meeting you guys and talking about the work that you've done, and both of you, Sonia, you grew up in South Seattle, right? So your hometown. So talk to us about that. Growing up, have you always been into design, and what was kind of your background?
Yeah, so I grew up in South Seattle, born and raised. And, I've always been the artistic type, the creative type. And so I did what I needed to do. I went to college. I went to architecture school. I went to get my master's of urban planning. And then, as I was working in the public sector for a while, I just needed something more creative, a more creative outlet. And I found that through working on projects for our friends and family out of South Seattle and in the Seattle area, and entrepreneur friends who really just didn't know the process about how to design and build a space. And so, Seattle and South Seattle is a very special place because it is so diverse. So growing up, we were, introduced to endless amounts of, friends and different people.
From different parts of the world.
Exactly, from all over, from Southeast Asia, from East Africa, from Latin America. And so, there was just so much beauty in that. And so when our friends and family, reached out to us to design places, we're like, we have to highlight that. We have to highlight, the things that make your culture special to you, because they're either opening up, coffee shops or cafes restaurants with, a cultural element to it. And so we try to work with our clients as much as possible to really get their story.
And tell their story, which I think is really amazing. And Sergio, I know you guys have just been open, officially since 2018. And this year, you were just recognized as, and I got one of the top 20, right, must-watch emerging design firms in the country by Arconnect, which is architecture publication, which is really amazing to have her you come. And Sergio, what would you say have been like really that turning point? And I know you got this through COVID, but what do you think has really helped you guys kind of become where you are in the last few years?
I think really comes down to our network of clients, entrepreneurs, and fellow creatives. really love the stories we tell for them through architecture and design. And I think people are taking notice and wanting to share their respective stories through design and culture. And I think that's one thing that's unique about La Union Studio is our intention to just wanting to highlight folks' story and their journeys through design. Opening up a space, a business is a huge risk, and it's scary and it's daunting. And so how can we as architects and designers step in and soften that sort of blow for them or alleviate a lot of that burden? We like to say, leave it to us to design your space and tell your story, so our clients can really focus on their business and on the nuts and bolts and how to open and all that. So
it's just really great because you're not just helping with the design part. You really step in. And what I've heard from some of your clients is that they feel like they could really trust you in so many aspects, and helping them, maybe even get their license, because you went through that as part of opening your own business as well. So you understood. And Sonia, you've talked about how, being a small business and especially minority owned, a lot of times they don't have a lot of the resources that a lot of other businesses do. So you step in and really try to get them through that process as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that is, I think of, we're children of immigrants, so we have to figure it out. We're filling out
do what you have to do.
Exactly. And so, we are blessed to, go to schooling and have all these experiences that can help us or help our clients, be in the same position when they open their business. So we're familiar with the permitting processes, interacting with the city, the county, all the different permits that are involved and licenses, because it's hard, we see our clients, putting all their faith into their business.
And their money,
right? Money, their sanity, we see it all. And so if, like Sergio said, if we can just work to alleviate a little bit of that stress, that's why we do it.
And I just want to show, people who are watching this podcast can see some of the videos. And I wanted to show some pictures of some of the work that you've done from some of your clients. If our producer can pull that up, we can talk a little bit about it. I think we have some from, I think, Finn. This is a Vietnamese coffee. This is one of your first clients that you worked with, right, Sergio? And this is a Vietnamese-owned coffee shop.
This is a Vietnamese cafe in the Chinatown International District. It was one of our first projects through COVID.
Wow.
So just to be able to be a resource for our client.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a tough time for a lot of the businesses out there.
Yeah.
We have this other one that just opened in Beacon Hill not too long ago, this Chibogs, right? And so Sonia, talk to us about that, because you're really putting your Filipino side to this restaurant as well.
Yeah, I mean, the food speaks for itself. So what we
Patricia is an amazing cook, and you see her right there, right?
Patricia is awesome. And so we're really just trying to highlight, again, the culture. Filipino culture is very inviting. It's homey. There's a lot of food. There's always, there's always art or trinkets or things that kind of are reminiscent of your parents' house, your mom's or your auntie's house. And so we wanted to bring that vibrancy to Chibogs. And so I think, with a modern twist, we always try to add a contemporary flair to all of our designs. But I think, we were trying to stay in line with her branding, but her branding is also very Filipino-esque. So we were just really trying to create a fast casual restaurant for her where, multiple families are going to go through there and eat, and a lot of chairs, a lot of seating.
And right next door to it, I know you worked with Baja Bistro, which is a Mexican, right? A Mexican owner. What's his name again?
Oscar Rodriguez.
Oscar, and we're seeing some pictures here inside, and they just opened. So, you're really not just helping the business, but really bringing the neighborhood, bringing the culture back. And I'm sure that's special for you, Sergio, growing up in South Seattle and wanting to see the people who grew up or maybe work in that neighborhood really kind of shine and grow.
Yeah, definitely. And if I can share one thing about these two businesses in particular, is that they were displaced. They were long-standing patrons and service providers to the Beacon Hill neighborhood. And just due to the rapid rise and growth of Seattle, got priced out. And so they had to close their doors a few years ago. And so we worked with them directly to help bring them back to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was a long journey, lots of hoops to jump through with
people, a lot of hands involved.
a lot of hands involved, but a great community around them in support of getting them back open. And them being open is a testament just to their permanence in Seattle and to their resilience. And it's just amazing to see them open.
And I think a testament to the great work that you've been doing these past few years since you started is now the city of Seattle took notice of the work that you've done. So Sonia, tell us a little bit about how they've helped you, and now you're kind of giving back, paying it forward, and helping other businesses under this VCO fund. So talk to us about that, because now they're helping you, because when you guys started, you were started in your house, right?
Yeah.
And now you're getting your own office opening up very soon.
Yeah. So in partnership with City of Seattle and National Development Council, NDC, we are a pilot project of trying to basically respond to commercial affordability, or the lack of commercial affordability in the Seattle area. And so they're, working with us, looking for the right tenants to basically purchase a condominium office space for us to build out our business. And so, it's a huge step for us. We're excited about growing our team, being able to collaborate in person, and just host a lot of, community events or, different things that will invite people into the world of architecture.
Yeah, and just to have your own office is big. And you said, without a program like this, it's so tough for a lot of businesses to be able to get in. I know we have some pictures of what this office will look like that's going to be opening. And what part of town is this again?
This is in the Mount Baker neighborhood.
Mount Baker neighborhood. Yeah. So the vision coming true for you guys to have this space open up very soon. And Sergio, you'll be helping through this program other businesses, because you're working with the city to help small businesses like yours be able to scale up and grow as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing to see the city put forward energy and an effort to help small businesses. In addition to the VCO fund, Sonia and I are consultants with the City of Seattle through the Tenant Improvement Grant Program. And it's really a fund to help offset a lot of the costs for building out a restaurant or a small business, a physical space that business owners are moving into. And so it's just really cool to see that from the other side and say, hey, the city's taking notice and saying, hey, what if we created ownership opportunities, long-term ownership for business owners as a way to create wealth? And so they're doing that for us through the BCO fund. And it's just amazing to be in the same neighborhood, to be located in the neighborhood that we serve. It's just truly remarkable, and we couldn't be more excited about that.
And I think, separately as consultants for City of Seattle, we're able to support small businesses at many different scales, right? From permitting processes to refreshing and redesigning their front of house. There's so much need for it. And like Sergio said, it's really promising to see just the team at City of Seattle really believing in the small business community, because it is a huge ecosystem that I think people don't really think about.
And Seattle is such a diverse place. I know you from your Filipino background, and your background is really interesting. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my mother is from American Samoa, and my father's from Cuba. And I grew up with a very sort of multi-ethnic identity. I like to call myself an adopted Filipino, excuse me. My wife is Filipino. A lot of my best friends from childhood are Filipino. So, and then growing up in South Seattle, it's really the sort of multi-ethnic community of Seattle. So, it just afforded me a sort of childhood of abundance and culture and creativity and just meshing with people from all over the world. So it's really, really unique and really formed my sort of global perspective on the world.
Yeah, and just you all bringing your vision, your work, and, your passion for design into all these different cultural facets and small businesses. Just so great to see. So, Sonia, what's next? What can people expect from La Union Studio going to? I mean, you have lots of exciting things coming up.
I mean, we have just a long list of projects that we're working on with great clients, small businesses, homeowners. We'll be moving into our commercial space, hopefully crossing our fingers, at the end of November.
Yeah.
We'll break ground.
So construction is underway. You're getting this place open.
Yep. Yeah. Construction contract signed, and we're ready to go. So,
that's awesome.
I think next year, looking into the new year, we're just ready to grow our team, really build that out. So, just helping support small businesses and other business owners and homeowners. I mean, we kind of do it all.
Yeah, no, that's so great. And Sergio, what about you? What are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I think scaling up in our project type. We love to work on larger projects, help more organizations in capacity building and thinking about their sort of long-term sustainability and, ownership of folks' space is something that is becoming more of an opportunity for small business owners. So how can we interface our role as designers and architects with thinking about how small businesses grow over long term, over the future? So, every day is not without fun and excitement and joy. There's not a day that is like the other. And so
that's what keeps life interesting. Right?
Yeah. And I think taking it one day at a time is a bit of our motto, as much as we plan and forecast.
I guess I wanted to ask you to wrap up this conversation. Yeah. I mean, what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs? You work with them all the time, small businesses, especially minority-owned businesses. What advice do you have for them to kind of maybe get over the challenges and kind of see through their vision like you guys have?
Yeah, I think for me is really being true and authentic to yourself, and really diving in 100,000%. I think there was a time where Sonia and I were both working, full time, trying to do side projects, but it just wasn't. We weren't seeing the sort of growth that we wanted until we decided to leave our 9-to-5s and really dive in.
Took that leap of faith.
Yeah,
right?
take the leap.
What about you, Sonia?
Mine would be to really believe in yourself and trust yourself. I think, a lot of people put in so much effort into other things. Like for me, for example, I was like, I'm going to go to grad school, get a job. Yeah. And then I got it all. And then I was like, wait, I need more. I need other things that'll fulfill me. And so, I think if you could just believe in yourself and really understand why you want to do it, that's kind of that'll keep you going.
Yeah. Great advice, Sonia and Sergio. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom and insights and for all the great work that you're doing in Seattle and hopefully expand it, right?
You never know.
Bigger than Seattle. You never know. Vegas is calling, right? Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much.
And best of luck to you. And thank you everybody for watching and listening this episode of Entrepreneur Showcase Series. And we'll see you again next time.